Well, hello there, welcome to the fireplace of the dollhouse for another reading from Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. That's right, alright. Hey, if you've been here before, you know how this thing goes. We like to get the mood set straight. That's right, by killing the lights, getting the fire crackling element going. I'm playing us a little crossharp. That's right. We got us tonight my low valved F harp in Suzuki Promaster 350. If you like that, I know I like. Let's see if I can squeeze some tunes out of it now, shall we? Ooh, that was a little something we found just now there. Hoo-wee, it sounded like a little something, didn't it? Here nor there, we're not here to find and discover songs. No, we're here to read some fairy tales. So let's get into it now, shall we? What are we reading tonight now, are we? Oh, I don't know just yet. Oh, let's see here. The Master Pfriem says here. Oh, no. The Lord's animals and the devils. That's before Master Pfriem. All right, the Lord's animals and the devils. The Lord God created all animals, if you didn't know, and had chosen the wolf to be his dog. Right, but he had forgotten the goat. Then the devil made ready and began to create also and created goats with fine long tails. Now, when they went to pasture, they generally remained caught in the hedges by their tails. Then the devil had to go there and disentangle them, but a great deal of trouble. And this enraged him at last, and he went and bit off the tail of every goat, as may be seen by to this day by the stump. And then he let go to pasture alone. And let them go to pasture alone, rather. And it came to pass that the Lord God perceived how at one time they gnawed away at a fruit tree, at another injured the noble vines, or destroyed other tender plants. And this distressed him so that in his goodness and mercy he summoned his wolves, who soon tore in pieces the goats that went there. And when the devil observed this, he went before the Lord and said, Thy creatures have destroyed mine. And the Lord answered, Why didst thou create things to do harm? And the devil said, I was compelled to do it, inasmuch as my thoughts run on evil. And what I create can have no other nature, and thou must pay me heavy damages. I will pay thee as soon as the oak leaves fall, and come then thy money will be already counted out. And when the oak leaves had fallen, the devil came and demanded what was due him. But the Lord said, In the church of Constantinople stands a tall oak tree, which still has all its leaves. And with raging and cursing, the devil departed and went to see the oak. Wandered in the wilderness for 6 months for he found it, and when he returned, all the oaks had in the meantime uncovered themselves again with green leaves. And then he had to forfeit his indemnity, and in his rage he put out the eyes of all remaining goats. And he put in his own instead. And this is why all goats have devil eyes, and why their tails are bitten off, and why he likes to assume their shape. I say, I like that one. Oh, the Lord's animals and the devils. I always thought them goats had some pretty spooky eyes, if you like, and now we know the reason why. Right? Though I think any clove-hoofing animal has them weird oval-shaped irises. You just gotta get a light in there to see. You just normally can't tell because they're so dark brown, I think. I could be wrong, however. In any event, let's get on with the next fairy tale. That one set a high standard, I do declare. But let's see if old Master Pfriem can clear things up, or set another standard. And it's spelled Pfriem, Pfriem, I'm assuming. And it says at the bottom with a little asterisk, Pfriem, or cobbler's awl. So now you know what Pfriem means, if I'm even saying it correctly. Anyhow, Master Pfriem was a short, thin, but lively man who never rested a moment. His face, of which his turned-up nose was the only prominent feature, was marked with smallpox and pale as death, and his hair was gray and shaggy, his eyes small, but they glanced perpetually about on all sides. He saw everything, criticized everything, knew everything best, and was always in the right. And when he went into the streets, he moved his arms about as if he was rowing. And once he struck the pail of a girl who was carrying water, and so high in the air that he himself was wetted all over by it. "Stupid thing," he cried to her, while he was shaking himself. "Could you not see that I was coming up behind you?" By trade he was a shoemaker, and when he worked he pulled his thread out with such force that he drove his fist into everyone who did not keep far enough off. No apprentice stayed more than a month with him, and for he had always some fault to find with the very best work. At one time it was that the stitches were not even, at another that one shoe was too long, or one heel higher than the other, or the leather not cut large enough. "Wait," said he to his apprentice, "I will soon show you how we make skin soft." And he brought a strap and gave him a couple strokes across the back. He called them all sluggards, and he himself did not turn much work out of his hands, for he never sat still for a quarter of an hour. If his wife got up very early in the morning, lighted the fire, he jumped out of bed and ran barefoot into the kitchen, crying, "Will you burn my house down for me? And that is a fire one could roast an ox by. Does wood cost nothing?" If his servants were standing by their wash tubs and laughing and telling each other all they knew, he scolded them and said, "There stand the geese cackling and forgetting their work. To gossip and why fresh soap, disgraceful extravagance and shameful idleness into the bargain. Bargain? There's an exclamation point there. They want to save their hands and not rub things properly." And out he would run and knock a pail full of soap and water over so that the whole kitchen was flooded. Someone was building a new house, so he hurried to the window to look on. "There, they're using the red sandstone again. It never dries," cried he. "No one will ever be healthy in that house. And just look how badly the fellows are laying the stones. Besides, the mortar's good for nothing. It ought to have gravel in it, not sand. I shall live to see that house tumble down on the people who are in it." He sat down, put a couple stitches in, and then jumped up again, unfastened his leather apron, and cried, "I will just go out and appeal to those men's consciences." And he stumbled on the carpenters. "What's this?" cried he. "You're not working by the line. Do you expect the beams to be straight? One wrong will put all wrong." He snatched an axe out of the carpenter's hand and wanted to show him how it ought to cut. But a cart loaded with clay came by. He threw the axe away and hastened to the peasant who was walking by the side of it. "You are not in the right mind," said he. "Who yokes young horses to a heavy-laden cart? The poor beasts will die on the spot." The peasant did not give him an answer, and Pfriem in a rage ran back into his workshop. And when he was setting himself to work again, the apprentice reached him a shoe. "Well, what's that again?" screamed he. "Haven't I told you ought not to cut shoes so broad? Who would buy this shoe, which is hardly anything but a sole? I insist on my orders being followed exactly. Master, answered the apprentice, you may easily be quite right about the shoe being a bad one, but it is the one which you yourself cut out, and yourself to work at. And when you jumped up a while since you knocked it off the table, and I have only just picked it up, an angel from heaven, however, would never make you believe that. One night Master Pfriem dreamed he was dead and on his way to heaven, and when he got there he knocked loudly at the door. I wonder, said he to himself, that they have no knocker at the door. One knocks one's knuckles sore. The Apostle Peter opened the door and wanted to see who demanded admission so noisily. Ah, it's you, Master Pfriem, said he. Well, I'll let you in, but I warn you that you must give up this habit of yours and find fault with nothing you see in heaven, or you may fare ill. You might have spared your warning, answered Pfriem. I know already what is seemly, and here, God be thanked, everything's perfect, and there's nothing to blame as there is on earth. And so he went in and walked up and down the wide expanses of heaven. He looked around him to the left, to the right, but sometimes shook his head or muttered something to himself. And then he saw two angels who were carrying away a beam. It was the beam which someone had had in his own eye while he was looking for the splinter in the eye of another. They did not, however, carry the beams lengthwise, but obliquely. Did anyone ever see such a piece of stupidity? Thought Master Pfriem, but he said nothing and seemed satisfied with it. It comes to the same thing after all, whichever way they carry the beams, straight or crooked, if they only get along with it. And truly you do not see them knock against anything. And soon after this he saw two angels who was drawing water out of a well into a bucket. But at the same time he observed that the bucket was full of holes, and the water was running out of it on every side. They were watering the earth with rain. Hang it, he exclaimed, but happily recollected himself and thought, perhaps it is only a pastime. If it is an amusement, then it seems they can do useless things of this kind even here in heaven. Well, people, as I have already noticed, do nothing but idle about. He went further and saw a cart which had stuck fast in a deep hole. Well, it's no wonder, said he to the man who stood by it, who would load so unreasonably. What have you done there? Good wishes, replied the man. I could not go along the right way with it, but still I have pushed it safely uphill, and they won't let me leave sticking here. In fact, an angel did come and harness two horses to it. That's quite right, thought Pfriem. But two horses won't get that cart out. It must be at least four to it. Another angel came and brought two more horses, and she did not, however, harness them in front of it, but behind. That was too much for Master Pfriem. Clumsy creature, he burst out with, what are you doing there? Has anyone ever since the world began seen a cart drawn that way? But you in your conceited arrogance think that you know everything's best? He was going to say more, but one of the inhabitants of heaven seized him by the throat and pushed him forth with irresistible strength. Beneath the gateway, Master Pfriem turned his head round to take one more look at the cart, and saw that it was being raised into the air by a four-winged horses. And at this moment Master Pfriem awoke. Things are certainly arranged in heaven otherwise than they are here on earth, said he to himself, and that excuses much. But who can see horses harnessed both behind and before with patience? To be sure they had wings, but who could have known that? It is beside great folly to fix a pair of wings to a horse that has four legs to run with already. But I must get up, or else they will make nothing but mistakes for me in my house. It is a lucky thing for me, though, that I am not really dead. And that has been Master Pfriem and the Lord's Animals and the Devils from Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. That's right. I have a affiliate link for this book down in the description. If you want to pick up your own copy, support the channel. You know what I'm saying now? In event, that's been Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. Let's take us out with a little more Suzuki Valved F, and I probably forgot that tune, but maybe we can stumble upon it again. How about that? Right into it. Didn't even think. You didn't even think. All right, hey, that's been Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. That's been a Suzuki low F Harp Promaster 350 there. And I just want to say, kisses to your missus and a tip of my cap to your old cat there. You come on back again now, you hear? You understand? I hope you do. You better. All right, you take care of yourselves. You have a good evening. And we'll come on back for some more Grimm Fairy Tale. You know what I'm talking about? All the things into the bargain there. That's right. I'll make it on talking even while you're gone here.